Now in studio, Bakersfield Congressman Kevin McCarthy.
Good evening, Congressman.
Good evening. How are you?
Good. Let's get started first by asking your opinion on the Herman Cain scandal. Do you think these allegations will hurt him?
Well, yes. When you have these type of allegations come forward, you have to answer them. And be very clear. If it's not true, stipulate it's not true, tell the situation, and then move forward. But you cannot go with not answering the allegations.
Now, not diminishing by any stretch of the imagination the allegations that these women are making, but something smacks of some politics maybe going on here. This happened a long time ago. Now, as he is getting to the top in the polls for the GOP presidential nomination, are you suspicious at all on the timing?
I don't want to take anything away from what the women said. The only thing you wonder, when Gloria Aldred is involved, it's not the attorney that you normally look to in a serious case. I mean, Gloria usually does the sensationalism of it in that standpoint. But anytime you're running for president, everything's going to come out and they can make anything look any way they want to. But you just have to be able to answer it and move forward.
All right, let's switch over to cutting the deficit. Democrat Charles Schumer of New York today said the so-called super committee tasked with cutting the deficit by at least $1.2 trillion over the next decade probably won't agree on that plan because your party says no to any new taxes, and Democrats won't agree to any cuts to entitlement programs until there's a concession on taxes. Now, this committee has about 2 weeks left, right? What happens to the nation's credit rating if the committee comes up short?
Well, even if the committee comes up short where they don't cut, it will still get cut, because in the deficit agreement was the committee can go and cut up to 1.2. If the committee does not, they go back to the Grand Rudman, which decided cut. There'd be a portion from the military, a portion from other entitlements. It will get cut 1.2 whether the committee does it or not. So it should not impact when it comes to the debt crisis. But the thing that concerns me the most, here's Schumer, a leader in the Senate, who automatically is trying to say this committee cannot solve the problem because Democrats want us to fail. I'm one who believes we can come to an agreement where both of us can find common ground to actually move the country forward.
And let's switch. We have just about 30 seconds left to talk about the high-speed rail. You've spoken out against building that high-speed rail. Last week it came out at a price tag has nearly doubled to close to $100 billion, and you advocate freezing funding for it. But some critics say you're ignoring the long-term benefits of a high-speed rail system in California. What's your response? I'm
not ignoring the high-speed benefits, because if the benefits are there, have the private sector invest in it. What I'm not ignoring is that we're borrowing 40 cents out of every dollar. And now what they're saying, the cost has risen by 300%. And for every rider that goes on, we'll have to borrow more money to subsidize each rider. That is not a way to spend your money, and that's not a way to invest in the future. Because what you're saying, if high-speed rail continues the way it is now, then somebody has to pick what schools, what fire departments, and other places we're going to cut to subsidize the riders on it. I think the investment should be made, one, by the private sector, and two, actually reevaluate. I wonder now, if the voters had the same information before them, would they vote to pass these bonds that they passed before? Because it was a very close vote, and they said it was only going to cost, what, $30 billion?
Mm-hmm. All right, Congressman Kevin McCarthy of Bakersfield, we want to thank you again for coming in and spending some time with us tonight, sir.
Thanks for having me.
All right.